Well, high school football is officially back, and that means so is the final drive. I'm Zach Hanley. He's Andrew Banstra. And let's kick this thing off, huh?
Now, usually in week one, teams face opponents that they're not too familiar with because it's non-conference play, but that's not the case in our game of the week.
No. Lake Mills and Lakeside Lutheran are pretty familiar with each other. They're separated by less than a mile.
That's exactly right, and they're playing for more than bragging rights. Hamburgers on the line from the Lake Mills Legion. It's the 2024 edition of the Slider Bowl, and this one slid all the way up and down. To start off, it was all Warriors. Benjamin Crockless slings one to his guy, Nathan DeNoyer, and the big gainer would set up this. On the goal line, Crockless with just a yard to gain, and he'd stick his nose in and do it himself. Lutheran took a 6-0 lead into half, but something changed at half because Lake Mills came out of the locker room a different team. After being shut out in the first, they would tear it up in the second, coming all the way back to win it. 21-12 is the final. The last two seasons, Mount Horeb Barneveld has improved each year. More wins and a step further in the playoffs.
But if we know one thing about Brett St. Arnold and his Vikings, they're not satisfied with reaching level 3. Up first for MHB, Baldwin Woodville, and the Sharks were feasting in that first quarter. Blackhawks looking for something, and Owen Asselman says, "I'll take that," and the Vikings would turn that turnover into points. Owen Primesberger plunges it in from a yard out to give MHB a 6-0 lead. Now, they were down 7-6, but answered immediately with, let's just call him Optimus Primesberger. He takes the handoff from Chris Keel off the kickoff, and he throw up the deuces and set an extra plate at the table, Mama, because he's got reservations for 6. Vikings roll 58-39. Now, like MHB, Stoughton starts their year 1-0. The Vikings went on the road and left with a 25-22 win in the Highway 138 rivalry over Oregon. Now, Edgewood and McFarland don't have a final score for that, but we do know Columbus took down Greenfield, and DeForest walked it off with a 2-point conversion in overtime over Brookfield Central.
And some other scores from our area. Janesville Craig starts their year with a statement, topping Sun Prairie West 42-8, and Beaver Dam beat Fort Atkinson 48-21. Fresh off an undefeated season that ended in a Division IV state championship, there is a new era underway in Lodi.
Yeah, Kyle Mack steps in to lead the Blue Devils, and his week 1 opponent is no slouch. The Cheesemakers always play a tough brand of physical football. Monroe looking to get back to their 2022 form when they won it all. Lodi, though, struck first in this one. Cale Schneider keeps his cool with the bobbled snap and then puts a dime on Kyle Kurt. 32 yards on the pitch and catch puts the Blue Devils up 7-0. Now, Monroe would answer right back. Ben Gadula walks in untouched from a few yards out, but they'd miss the extra point, and that would be costly. Look at the final score. Lodi gets the week 1 win, 7-6, the final.
Both Darlington and Platteville are coming off great seasons. The Redbirds finished runner-up in 6, while the Hillmen, they won the SWC and reached level 2.
And just like last season, the two meet up again to open up their seasons. Darlington won last year's game, had a 14-point lead at halftime, and weren't done scoring in the second half. Zeke Zuber-Mueller throws a dart to Broker Busher, and B Squared makes it a 3-score game. Then later, it's Callum Christ running like a man possessed. He ain't stopping until he finds pay dirt. Darlington Blake's Platteville 28-0 is your final. Well, Cambridge and Randolph had different seasons last year. The Blue Jays finished 500 and saw their season come to an end in level 1.
The Rockets, on the other hand, they won 9 games and reached level 3, and this season both teams have high expectations. This one was tight heading to half, but the Blue Jays just had it going on in the second. Early third, Matthew Buckman, the senior, buying time, rolling around, and he gets it into his playmaker's hands. Just give the ball to Kiefer Parrish, and good things will happen. Parrish punishing defenders all the way inside the 10, and it led to this. The handoff to Owain Nellis, who scoots into the end zone for the score. But the Blue Jays, they were just getting started. Their next possession, remember what I said about Kiefer Parrish. He is a problem. Buckman finds his man again, and this time he's off to the races. Cambridge runs away with it, winning 39-8 the final.
And some other scores to pass along. Potosi Cassville starts their season with a 32-21 win over Cuba City. And in SWC SWAL crossover, it was Lancaster over Mineral Point 21-6.